Hey guys, so I will explain to you now this new spreadsheet that we want guys to work off. It's a little bit more complex, but if you get the grasp with this, it's not that complicated, yeah? So this spreadsheet basically here is for me to explain to you the makeup and structure of the process codes, including the options that you select, all the codes that they create and options that result basically in a final codes for processes or finishes, yeah? So this basically I'm explaining you to this final code, and I've got the screenshots of the selections in here as well so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Now also we're changing a few selections, but I'm going to run you through each one of these. So I'm adding a few bits and I'm taking a few bits off, and I'm adding a couple of alternatives like the laminate type 1, laminate type 2, and scoring type 1, scoring type 2, perforation type 1, perforation type 2, etc. Yes, I'm going to run through all these changes that we need to do, and I will explain to you the makeup of these final codes, final processing codes. Okay, so if you look at foil stamping, the process code makeup structure starts with this. So P is just, as you remember, stands for just process. So as opposed to M underscore, which will be material, which will be your paper and your color of your paper, yeah? So P stands for process. All of these will have P underscore, yeah, because these are all processes. WO is your code of the supplier. We've got a referencing spreadsheet where all these short codes reference a supplier's name, right? So this is who we purchase that finish of. And then underscore, so this next section is FO, which is again a abbreviation or a code for foiling, yeah? So it's the first two letters of the process, yeah? So now these are the options. Obviously, you know, we've got one side and two sides. So the code for one side is 1S, the code for two sides is 2S. Yeah, so when I select one side, it'll be 1S. When I select two sides, it'll be 2S. Yeah? Then I've got 40 colors to choose from. And each color, this is the color option, this is the code for it. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm looking at the first three letters of the color. So it'll be ABA will be the code. For this Aqua Drop Silver, it'll be AQU. So that will be the code. Okay, so that will result once I make all my selections in terms of side and color. This will give me a final code structure, which is P for process, WO for supplier, FO is a code for the foiling as a finish or process. 1S tells me it's a single-sided. ABA tells me the colors are baloney. This one is 2S, which means two-sided, you know, same color. Now, foiling is a little bit complicated in terms of me producing you every single combination between the colors, because you can have, as you understand, two sides and 40 colors in each, so that's like 1600 combinations or a very large number. So I'm going to come back to you about a code that will combine the sides and colors in a minute, yeah? So just ignore this for now of what happens when I choose multiple colors for front and back for the foiling, and I'll explain this in the end. Right now I'm just going to run you through all these finishes just to make sure you're clear with, first of all, how this structure, this makeup works, and second of all, what changes you need to make to the existing selections and finishes, yeah? So letterpress, I think this should make sense. So first of all, if I have a mark, if there's no highlights with these are straight screenshots of your thing, yeah? If you see a highlight in red, that means I'm changing something, yeah? So as you can see, letterpress doesn't have any highlights, there's no changes there. So letterpress, so again, P process, BO is a supplier's name, LE means a letterpress, first two letters of the finish, yeah? Now these are my options, yeah? So obviously I've got front, color, back, color. So back and reverse exactly is the same thing, yeah? I've just got B for back, but here we got reverse, just so that should be basically. You can replace that with R if it's any easier, yeah? But basically these are all the combinations and the options that that are available, yeah? So what we're doing is front one, so front color, back no color, front color, back color, front color, back 2 colors, front 2 colors, back 0 colors. As I said, these are all the possible combinations that I can select with the front and reverse options here from my attributes. Yeah. Now I'm gonna assign these codes 10, 11, 12. So 10 basically means front there's a color and back there is no color. Yeah, or reverse there is none. Yeah, as it stands in here. So this will give me a code of 10. So for example, code 20 would mean front I've got 2 colors, yeah, and back I've got 0 colors. So front I might select 2 colors, back also no colors. That will be code 20, yeah. Now Pantone color, as you know, on the front end, basically for letterpress we enter Pantone color reference. So the customer just enters numbers, yes. So there's not going to be, nothing's going to be written in here. So this will always be just PMS. PMS stands for Pantone solid color, basically, yeah. So this will always be PMS. But anyway, these are the codes there for letterpress that gives you all the possible combinations of front and back having 1 or 2 colors. Okay, so this should be clear. If any issues with this, just give me a quick buzz. Embossing, debossing also fairly similar in structure. Basically we're just saying if it's an emboss or deboss. These are the only selections. The sizes, you know, because you freely enter that, there's no really any formula to it. So embossing one side will be just 1S, deembossing will be just DS. So basically these are the only thing you need to sort of pay attention to, and there's only 2 codes that can be generated by the embossing. Yeah, again the size attribute in this case we ignore that because we're not it's anything that you free entry free type, we're not gonna have a part of the makeup of the structure in the final code. Yeah. 3D embossing, so again P processing SP is the supplier, 3D is the 3D embossing code for the foil. So basically we have again emboss and deboss option, 1S DS, same logic, no options because the size it's not being recorded, results in a final code. Yeah, so I don't think I need to go through all of these. I'll go through round corners actually, just because as you can see there's corner radiuses and then there's sizes, corner radiuses and which corners I'm selecting. Yeah, so basically the customer can select 4 mil and then select the top left and the bottom right corner to be rounded off. Yeah, so this corner radius is essentially your attribute slot 1. Sorry, these are all the attributes there that are available in combinations. Yeah, so 4 mil 1 corner, 4 mil 2 corner, 4 mil 3 corner, 4 mil 4 corner. Yeah. So this should say 4 mil 1 corner. So just so you guys don't get confused, this is basically, yeah. So 4 mil 1 2 3 4 corners, 6 mil 1 corner, 6 mil 2 corners, 6 mil 3 corners and 4 corners in here. Yeah. Okay, so that basically there's only 2 corner radiuses in this option, which is 4 mil and 6 mil, and then you select. So I'm not storing which corner I've selected. That's fine. That doesn't change your price. So I just need to know how many corners that they've selected. 1, 2, 3 or 4. Okay. And again, these are the codes for those combinations, and then those codes can be found in here that will complete a final makeup structure of your process codes. Yeah. So again, this example here tells me P process, name of the supplier. RC stands for rounded corners finish. Now ID 43 tells me that the customer selected 4 mil option in here, and he selected 3 corners, say 1, 2 and 3. That's all that these codes mean, and based on that we can come up with this code, and there will be a set price for this that you will simply add to the material cost, which I will explain in the next section. Yeah. Now, as I said, these things that I've marked in red are either new additions or edits to the existing rounded corners. So obviously we're keeping this rounded corner as is with this supplier, WO, so World Printing. This is one option here. Now the other option here is, as you can see, the supply is different. Yeah, so this is WH, so that's a code name for Whirlwind, which is another printer. Now they have slightly different structure of the rounded corners. Therefore I need to add you this rounded corners option 2, like you did for the laminate option type 2. That will give you different options. So with this, for example, you can't select which corner you want. All the 4 corners will be rounded. So in this instance you have to add this option where my corner radiuses is 4 mil and 6 mil, but basically there's no option like this where you select which corners you want to round off, and therefore, as you can see in here, I've added an extra sentence here. So you just basically, whenever this code is assigned, then you're gonna to the paper, then instead of giving this option, you're gonna give this option. Yeah. So I'll explain that in a second. But just basically, you need to understand, you need to create a new finish called round corners type 2, and then this will only give you the corner radius option, and this will be locked in. This is just an image, just an illustration that shows you that all those 4 are ticked, and you cannot untick these. Yeah, this is just a small image, just a small little icon illustration. Yeah. Now, for whenever I'm adding a new file, a new design, I've included a file name, rounded corners, yeah, dash pwhwrc, which is essentially this code, so you can reference that code to a design file that I've also supplied with this presentation. Okay, so these are the codes 44 and 64. Basically, they again create this makeup of a final code structure. So die cutting, for example, and laser cutting, there's no changes. Yeah, so this is simple. There's just those couple of options, and then that creates a makeup code in the same way as explained above. So then I have this option here, which is laser marking. Now, laser marking, that's changing the existing laser marking option. Yeah, there's no 2 laser marking options, just one. And basically, there's, as I noted here, there is no options full coverage, half coverage. Yes, so how I've solved this is I've replaced this, used to say shape area, now just replace that with just a laser marking, and then there's only full coverage. There's no price difference, so there's nothing for them really to select. When they select this, as I say here, there's only one option is available, full coverage. There's no other option, so this is what they're going to see. So you're changing the laser marking core attribute. Yeah, like I said, we're not adding this one, we're just changing it, and there's no attribute, so the code for this is very simple. So LM for laser marking, there's no options, there's no sizes, so it'll be just NA basically stands for not available. So that's basically, there's only one code structure that you can make up for laser marking, which will be this. Yeah, so this is very simple. Okay, so I'm going to skip all these steps that are staying the same. So there's no need for me to go into that. Yeah, but if any of this isn't clear, just let me know. Now, the only one I should explain to you is this laminate type 2. Yeah. Now, basically, this has already been created. So we're just making some changes in how it's presented in the back end, I believe, Alvin. Yeah, but so the only thing that's important to note with this is that sometimes, as in the case of this laminate option type 2, my supplier code is changing. Yeah, so you've got laminating one side, 2 sides, and gloss laminate. Yeah, so essentially 4 combinations. Yeah, so as you can see, the makeup code of all these 3 have the same supplier, which tells me that for one side matte, 2 side matte, and 1 side gloss, my supplier is WH, so Whirlwind, yeah, or whoever supplier that is, yeah. But when I select double-sided gloss, my supplier will be different. Yeah, that's why I've highlighted this. This doesn't happen in very many cases, but in this case, it's just worth noting that you account for this logic. essentially doesn't mean anything else. The only thing that this means to you guys in the back end is that I will pull a different supplier for these combinations of finishes. Yeah, it doesn't change obviously the pricing. I will provide you the pricing individually for all these, but this just tells me that, or tells you, or tells the code that there's a different supplier when I select these combinations. Yeah, again, if you're not clear, just buzz me, okay? Edge foiling, fairly self-explanatory, I believe. Okay, sorry, no, edge foiling is not self-explanatory. I'll need to understand. I need to explain this in more details. Yeah. Basically, GSM stands for grams a square meter, so it's just the thickness of the paper as far as you guys need to know. Yeah. So we're gonna have to do a bit of formula, because my codes that I will pull out, I need to account for the thickness of the paper. Yeah, now the thickness of the paper is available to you in the material codes, okay? And then basically my prices that I need to charge, or my costs that I'm obtaining from these suppliers, is different based on the GSM. So the thicker the paper or the higher the GSM, the more cost I will have for that finish. Okay, so I'm still gonna have one price for all those options, but I have some formula you guys will need to work with. So the price for 300 GSM will be one price, 400 GSM will be another price, 500 GSM another price, 600 GSM another price. Yeah. But sometimes say the paper is 350 GSM. In that case, as I've explained here, from 250 to 299, you're assuming the 300 GSM code. Okay, which is this code here. Yeah, E3 stands for 300 GSM. As I explained here, so say if you're looking at, say if the code is, if the GSM is 350, then you're looking at the price for the 400 GSM. Yeah, so 301 till 399, you're looking at this code here, which you're gonna look at that. Yeah. So just really briefly, I can just touch on your on this other spreadsheet that will explain to you in a detail. But here we have the GSM. I'm actually going to give you a separate column for the GSM, but here you can see the GSM. So Cocoa Craft is 300, Matte Deluxe is 550. Yeah, so basically when you pull in that, if I select Matte Deluxe 350 from here, all in and 350, that 350 GSM, and I select the edge coloring, or sorry, the edge foiling rather. Well, let me select another paper that I can actually select edge foiling. So say Luxury Matte Black 450, yeah, and I select the edge foiling here. Yeah, so for you to make this code up, you will need to take this 450 GSM into consideration, yeah, to pull this code, to pull this final code. Yeah, so now because it's 450 GSM, as you can see, or what was it? I think it was 550. So no, sorry, 450 GSM. So 450 GSM falls, as I said, 400 to 499. Yeah, which is 450 is in between those two numbers. We're assuming the cost or the code for 500 GSM. Therefore, you will pull that code E5. Yeah, so the code for edge foiling on Luxury Matte Black 450, you'll be pulling the code E5 here, because 450 is between 499 and 500. Sorry, 401 to 500, 499. Yeah. So you'll pull that code. Yeah. So any issues with this, I'll explain again. Okay. But anyway, so these codes gives you all the combinations that take the paper thickness into account. Okay, so it's slightly more complex, but Hopefully you guys can understand this, yeah? Okay, so I go into the edge coloring. Now the edge coloring, this edge coloring is actually a replacement, not a new addition, yeah? So we only have one type of edge coloring, and I'm replacing the existing selections, yeah? Currently the edge coloring has, let me just unhighlight these. I can't unhighlight. So anyway, the edge coloring, it just has this option, edge color and Pantone reference. So here I would put in, say, 390, which is a color coded for Pantone, yeah, but that doesn't matter. And then what I'm asking you guys to do is to add another option here. Again, I've provided this design file in this file name called edge coloring PBOCO, yeah, which is the code for that. But what I'm saying here is the edge coloring, I'm adding your selected color or selected color is, and then you just have to make a selection lighter than a paper or darker than a paper, yeah, because those are actually different prices. So say if you select an edge color, say you got black paper, and they'll select a white edge color, or they might type in a yellow color or light gray. They'll need to just manually select well that paper, that my selected color for the edge color is lighter than the actual paper, yeah, because there's a different prices. If it's darker, then it's basically very cheap, but if it's lighter, then it's more expensive. But you guys don't need to know that. But what you need to know is that just add those two selections onto my existing edge coloring finish, and there's two codes: EA, darker than a paper color; EB is lighter than a paper color. Okay, so, and that will obviously give me the combinations of those two final potential codes. Like I said, the edge coloring is replacing the existing feature. You're not adding a new one, yeah? Now, we've got a scoring option here. This is, we're changing the first option, and then we changing the existing current option, we're changing it, and this is the one we're adding to a new option, yeah. So the one we're changing from the existing one, we basically removing directions on both. We're not going to have horizontal, vertical anymore, and we're replacing the option, as you can see in here. I typed that in for you. Replace the option, so the scoring option, with 1 score horizontal, 1 score vertical, and 2 score vertical. Now those obviously you can see from here. So these will be the options available from here. We're dropping the directions, and I'm going to give you, we're going to generate these three type of codes: H1 for 1 scoring horizontal, V1 for 1 score vertical, and V2 for 2 score vertical. And then final makeup code structure, as per the current logic, we'll be pulling out those three codes, yeah. Now there's a type 2 scoring as well. As you can see, it's a different supplier that have different scoring. So the scoring there, you know, if you follow my instructions, they should be clear. So, but basically, again, we're removing the directions, and there's only one scoring option available. So pretty much there's no selections for them to make. But just to keep the logic, you're going to leave it how it is. So it'll be just scoring, and only one score will come up. Two score will not be available with this supplier, and it'll be just one-time score. So there's only one formula here. Okay. Perforation. This is changing the existing perforation finishes. Yeah, so the top one is the replacing of the existing one, and this is the new one. So basically here we again ditching the directions on both of those, and the current perforation says 1 time perforation, 2 times perforation. So those two we're gonna keep. Sorry, no, we're actually gonna change it to these three selections. So 1 perforation horizontal, 1 perforation vertical, or 2 perforations vertical. So I guess you can't do 2 horizontal perforations. That's the only change. So you're only changing the drop downs, so the attribute options under the perforation, to these three, as I explained here as well. and that gives you these codes. Because we're ditching the directions, there's nothing in here, and there's only those 3 codes that you'll be pulling, creating in the system. Yeah, and this is a new option where there's only one option, 1 times perforations, and also we're removing the direction, so only one option, and therefore only one code. Okay, numbering fairly straightforward, I believe. The default option there's no changes to. So there's basically 1 set of numbering or 2 sets of numbering, and then there's sequential or random that will eventually give us these 4 combinations. These are the 4 codes, and this is the you know, the final code for the numbering. Yeah. Now we're also adding a new numbering option, so numbering type 2 with this supplier Whirlwind WH, and with those we, as you can see, the only options to include. So first of all, we're ditching the numbering, the sequential numbering or random numbering. They don't have that option, and they only have 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, or 4 sets of numbering, and that's the only selection you'll be making. Okay, as you can see, they're here. These are the short codes, and those will create this final code here. All right, so drilling. Now this is the first option, yeah, with the existing options. So I have a diameter and a drilling quantity. Yeah, so drilling, I have a diameter and I have a drilling quantity. So it's 4 options here and 8 options. So 4 options here, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options here, times 4 there. So that essentially gives me 20 combinations. Yeah, or maybe a few more combinations. Yeah. So anyway, drilling quantity is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the diameter. So attribute 1, attribute 2 results in all these combinations, and this is the final code. Okay. And I guess we have another drilling option as well, which is my last attribute. Yeah. So this other, again, Whirlwind supply WH. There's fewer options in here. So they also have 4 drilling quantity, but they only have 4 diameters. Yeah, so 1, 2, so 3, 5, 6, and 9. So in this drop down, I'll say 3, 5, 6, 9, and then this will again end up in these combinations and structures. All right. Now the purpose of this document again is to then explain to you now how each of these selections translate into a final process code that you will generate. And those you will use in this new material code spreadsheet in here. Yeah, so you see laminate, you've got laminate type 1, laminate type 2. I've got these codes in here, so these codes here correspond with my laminate codes on the other one. Yeah, so instead of, I could have called it laminate type 1, laminate type 2. Yeah, but let me just scroll down to the laminate. Yeah, so as you can see, I've got PSU underscore LN. Yeah, this one here. PSULN, so it's the same code. So this is a marking which product, which paper will have which type of laminate or foil or embossing option, etc. Yeah, so all these makeup codes are the ones that I've just explained now. So as you've seen, there's 2 types of perforation, there's 2 types of numbering. You can reference by these codes which one is which, and therefore same logic applies of how you've uploaded. So if this type of numbering applies to this product, or by product I mean paper, yeah, then you basically will give me that option for numbering. Okay, so the upload of this is the same. I've just got a few more extra additional data in here, but basically that is how you will use these codes in here. Okay, so I'll pause this for now. I'll let you digest this part, and then I'll continue recording. But just before I stop, let me just go back onto here, onto this foil stamping that I said at the start that I will explain in a little bit more detail. Yeah. Now, because we have because with double-sided options, and we have 40 colors for each side. So essentially it's 40 times 40, I think it's 1600 available combinations. Instead of me listing those out, if you want to, I can have that if you want. But what we thought is, let me just show you how we're kind of handling the how we are handling the process foiling. Yeah, so the foiling, basically, these are all the process codes summarized in here for foiling. I've got all the processes in here. I'll give you this spreadsheet a bit later. Yeah, but right now here I have all these combinations. So one side, 1S, and all the colors available are in here. And then I've got 2S for 2 sides, and all those colors are available. Yeah. So obviously I'm talking about this here, foil stamping. Say I choose 2 sides, I choose one from these 40 colors. It actually will be 40 colors, not 30. And then I'll choose another one from here. Yeah, so as you can imagine, there's 1400 combinations in a code. That's a little bit complex to create, and I'd have to have more characters in the process code. So I thought it'd be neater that instead of doing that, is when you select this combination, so for example I've selected 2 sides, mint and red, then I will give you 2 process codes for you to work out the price with. Yeah, because the pricing, for example, I will give you a price. So say this is the price here, this is the option, this is the option for one process, and this is another process code. So say you've chosen those 2 colors from the front end. Basically we can just combine those 2 codes together, and because this will have a price one, this will have another price, you just basically add those 2 prices up in the end. Yeah, so I know I haven't covered the pricing and adding and the pricing formula yet, but just I want to get your opinion for now on using, say, when you do 2 selections for foiling, is that we're going to use 2 foil codes. Yeah, so 2S stands for 2 sides, SIL stands for silver. Yeah, and then say if the second side, so silver would be, I guess, the first color. Yeah, so imagine I selected silver here, and then the second color I've selected is jade color. Yeah, wherever the bloody jade color is, whatever, here you go. So gloss silver and jade essentially will give me those 2 codes side by side. Yeah, so it'll give me a code. It'll give me a code here that this might be a price of, say, $50. Yeah, and then I'll pull in this code for the jade color for the foiling. This might be also $50. Yeah, and therefore when it comes to calculating the price in here for sides, 2 sides, gloss silver and jade, you're just going to add $50 plus $50 and it'll show $100 in here. Yeah, so that's our current logic. Instead of having, you know, instead of having another code, which is also possible, we can also do this option where you have your first code, so double-sided underscore SIL underscore JAD. Yeah, if you guys are happy with this, because obviously this code up to here is the same, but this will be a 3 additional characters to your code. If you wanted to do that, we're more than happy to give you the 1400 combinations as well, and we can have this, so we can have an extra 3 digits for foiling, because we have so many combinations in colors and sides. Okay, so I will now send you this file, Alvin, and I will let you digest what I've just said in here. And then I will record a new recording that will then explain the material codes, and also how you can upload all these to the website. Okay.